Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another segment of the new Black Leadership Coalition here in the great studios of Intellectual Radio. I am so thankful, so blessed, so very privileged, really, to have once again this golden opportunity to come to you all live via iHeartRadio, Facebook, YouTube, etc., even Instagram, and other ways that we don't even know that somebody is watching, somebody is always listening. So we want to thank you all once again. We want to thank first and always the Creator, Almighty God, for giving us another day on this planet with really crystal clear clarity. Want to thank our ancestors. I know they've given us this little short month of the calendar year that's called Black History Month, but we always lift up our ancestors and we never forget them. And really, we always whether we say it openly or not, but we want their permission to speak. That's how much honor and respect we have for the ancestors. So, once again, thank you all for tuning in. If you just tuning in, please share the live. Please share the live. And if there's some folks out there that you really want them to hear this, you have an opportunity to go back on YouTube and send that the live show to them. It will be recorded, but please, because what I have to say and what I'm sitting here as one of the co-founders, but the founder and co-host, and oftentimes I want to call him the producer of the show, but really a friend, a brother, and a humble servant of the Creator. He's quiet, yet there is thunder by the divine design, how God made him to be, and touched by many mentors, many positive influences in his life. And so we're very blessed this evening to have, I call him, a brother called me that, but I call him the breath of fire with us this evening. My brother, my friend, Minister Michael Muhammad. How you doing, Brother Mike? And I know everybody's happy to see and want to hear from Brother Minister Mike, the founder of the new Black Leadership Coalition.
Well, thanks for the introduction, Brother Gregory. I don't know how many people are happy, but but again, I want to reiterate that we always come in the name of Almighty God, the beneficent, the merciful. Whenever we take the airwaves, we always try to be a respectable reflection of God's man in our midst and God's salvation in our midst. Of course, I'm speaking first of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and more currently of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who are the preeminent teachers in Black America. And so we don't always say that in opening up, and some of my Muslim family may not understand that, but just to those who question that, whether we say it or not in that way, our mission is to appeal to our people and bring them closer to the truth of Almighty God. And this show is not a religious show. This is not a show to proselytize in the name of religion. And so we have to be careful that for those who misunderstand, for those who really wrestle with Minister Farrakhan and the teachings of the Nation of Islam. And for those who wrestle with the fact that it's, when we're on together, it's two brothers that from that fold, they may see us as an extension of that by default. And so just being sensitive to the peculiarities of trying to appeal to Black people, uh, sometimes we don't invoke that name as we open up, but it's important that people understand that we went through something to learn what to say and how to say it. We went through and still going through something of tremendous value that allows us to hold each other accountable and hold ourselves accountable for what we say and we do on behalf of Black people. And so I want to thank you for continuing to host the show and do your best to bring as much fire, as much inspiration, motivation, as much challenge and critique as you do in your own way, and letting the chips fall where they may. And even though you draw controversy in your own right, and sometimes you have to defend yourself, uh, but that comes with the territory sometimes. And so we have to keep pushing forward, even against naysayers who try to uh, reinterpret our motivations and reinterpret our intentions. So I want to thank you for being consistent, because consistency and persistence are two principles that can take David and make him overcome Goliath.
Yeah, man. Well, let me tell you, Minister Mike, thank you, because it's really about something much bigger than ourselves. And I have a commentary that I definitely want you all to hear, but it's going to connect this conversation with some of the current events and how the new Black leadership, Minister Mike, was established to get in front of what we see right now taking place among those who are referencing themselves as leaders, as activists, as political operatives, as voices in our communities, leaders. And I want to say this because I want to connect the purpose of what we do and how we respond. And you're right. The minute you mention the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan's name, even on Facebook, there's someone lurking around to take a shot at the brother. I'm talking about verbally with some of your comments, and I am going to check that, but not you, because I know it's out of ignorance that you say what you say. And no matter how you try to defend it and be in denial, it's out of sheer ignorance that you will say some of the most ignorant, damaging, weak, and cowardly things about a man that before any of us probably out here now was born, been fighting on behalf of poor people, Black people, his entire life. But I gotta say something to you. And look, folks, I said this last week. It's immaterial to me. It really is. And I want to say something to you all about regardless, it's obvious that there's no synergy, energy, and unity in the spirit of our people. Although we are frustrated and although we are upset and we say we mad and we sick and tired of being sick and tired, but our behavior, our attitudes, our spirit is so opening for the enemy to smack us around, but the new face, thank you, Brother Harold, the new face, thank you, Brother Butt Naked Truth, Harold Davis, the new face of white supremacy is a black face, and that's the ignorance. I don't care who sits in the seat. At this point, it cannot fix what's wrong with us. I'm telling you straight up, if a white man, and some of you all today that you're praising this white man have never done anything for us. Never. I mean, I'm just calling it like it is. But for you to go behind closed doors or openly, now, again, I'm not mad at you if that's what you want to do, but please don't paint this man as some benevolent savior. That's where you go wrong. There's no white man, white woman, white system is going to get black people out of this wretched condition. Stop it. You a damn fool. But as we argue with each other on Facebook, as we beat each other up on Facebook, social media, it's wasteless. It's fruitless. There's no fruit coming from that. Nobody's arguing about farmland. None of these candidates is talking about land for black people. We're not even asking for land. We're not even talking about let us do something for self. We tried to get many of you all in the room. Some of you all say, I'm a thought leader. Yeah, well, Mr. Thought or Miss Thought Leader, you missing in action. And as long as you think this temporarily, posturing about who you want in office, all of the LaShawn Ford people still beating up on the Willie Wilson people, and some of the Willie Wilson people beating up on, and Amara ain't gonna do this, and LaShawn can't do this, and Willie Wilson can't do this, and Tony Pratt-Winkle can't do that. But yet, you keep playing, and another daily, after all black people been through, here you go. But I'm telling you, man, just as sure as the weather minister, Michael, was 50 below zero, 50 today, 100 degrees variance, which just like that, man. And see, we don't understand the spiritual piece in this. We don't understand nature. We think it's just an accident that this governor of Virginia said what he said, and it's happening around Black History Month. We think it's just an accident that all kind of stuff is going on being coded with black people. My heart goes out to anybody that's been abused, whether you are heterosexual, homosexual, or whatever you are. But don't spin the people, send the people. And that's another thing, man, that I really wanted to really beat Steve up and beat Michael Eric Dyson up and beat a few of these hypocrites who never come to the aid of poor black people. But the minute this guy, Jesse, said something happened to him, I don't know. And if it did, whoever, whatever happened at 2:30 in the morning, look, black people get abused 24/7, and none of you cowards say anything. But you are pandering. That's what I saw. Because you all are quiet as a church mouse when it comes to black issues, and you have yet to pool your resources to fix what's wrong in the black community. So you don't have any damn credibility as far as I'm concerned. But really, my commentary is on the social media activists, social media leaders, Minister Mike and all of the coalition members. We have tried our best and will continue to try to get us in a room, not just to meet, man. We've done that, to have a meeting of the minds and respect, your perspective, your opinion, your ideas, your suggestions, your advice. But yet we are divided more from the time we met a few months ago and we got you in the room, and you still trying to figure out who gonna beat all, it don't make a difference. As long as we operate like we operate, they are going to pick us off. Bottom line. And then the slick bag men who getting paid. I mean, I'm watching some of you guys. Y'all getting a check. You going behind closed doors, you getting a check. And look, am I mad at you getting a check? No. But you don't represent black people. Say you represent yourself. Just say it. You're doing all that because you want to pay your card note. You want to live large. But don't say that you're doing this for Pookie and Willie and Shanae. That's a lie. You ain't doing nothing. None of your decision is about lifting up poor black people. This is all self-grandizement. And I'm telling you, you better stop. God gonna punish you for using the condition of black people to fill your pockets with more money. Whether you are a radio host, whether you're a so-called political operative, or whether you just out there campaigning wearing buttons, stop it. You don't represent black people because you don't even know the knowledge of self. How the hell you gonna help black people and you don't really know who you are? Anyway, that's my commentary. I mean, they get on my nerve with that. And we working our butt off trying to get these Negroes in a room, man. We ain't got to agree on everything, but at least, man, we can center around a few issues, man, and go at it so that there's accountability, as you've been stressing, Minister Mike. But then there's principles, Mike. The principles. They do not want to be disciplined with principles and rules of engagement.
Well, that's true, but that is a byproduct of our sojourn in America. And this is why Malcolm said it, and Minister Farrakhan continues to say it. This statement that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had the hardest job of any man that ever lived, to get us to work together to actually produce something tangible. So this is why, how can you get in front of black people and you really don't know what Marcus Garvey went through? How can you get up and stand up in front of black people for whatever reason, if you want to represent black people at whatever level, but you don't have any baptism in the history and legacy of those two men in particular, Marcus Garvey and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Marcus Garvey did not bring a spiritual necessarily aspect to his movement. He was focused on the social concept of unity, racial unity, social and economic strength of our collective efforts. And he made great strides, the largest mass organization of black people in our history in North America. But in the midst of that history, it's littered with bickering, backbiting, slander, jealousy, envy in the ranks of his movement, in particular among the leadership. It's potmarked with stories of people, even to the point where Marcus Garvey had to get in physical fights with some of his leaders.
Wow.
Because we underestimate what happened to us in chattel slavery. And we continue to underestimate how that is connected to our exposure to Eurocentric education and white control mass media that is constantly reinforcing this deep self-loathing, self-hatred that breeds as its byproduct an inordinate need to be the only one. An inordinate need to feel insecure if it looks like my brother or my sister is going to be maybe a bigger one than me in some area. And so it makes me want to slander you, malign you, attack you, or undermine you, sabotage you.
Teach.
Even when I don't have anything equal or superior to offer. So when we talk about new black leadership, we're not talking about because you're a teenager, you represent new black leadership because you 20 years. We're not talking about a generational thing. Age is irrelevant.
Teach.
Because I can't tell you how many hundreds and thousands of grown fools that I've encountered in the work. I look, everybody knows a bunch of old fools, and we might be one and not recognize it. So age is no precondition to be the appropriate leadership to elevate black people into self-sufficiency, right? So when we talk about new black leadership, we're talking about a quality of heart and character and mind that I have the right material and substance to subordinate any urges of envy and jealousy or petty competition with my brother or my sister who is also aspiring to help lift black people and has a legitimate ability to do so. Do I have what it takes to move over sometime? Do I have the ability to share a stage or a platform? Do I have the ability to recognize, okay, well, I'm not good with economic development, so that brother or that sister over there is great with it, so let me push them in as the leader in that area. I'm not good with education. I don't know the educational system. So that brother or that sister over there is good at being an advocate and activist in that area. So I got to step back and support them when that issue comes up. Knowing that one of the problems we have, and it's a byproduct of our deep slave inculcation, even in 2019, is that we want to be what we used to call a jack of all trades and a master of none. We try to be an expert on everything. We want to be the leader on every issue.
Wow.
That's how you know I'm not ready. Because people who are experts know their limitation. You can't take your Benz to a mechanic that only deals with Chevrolet. He's going to tell you, I don't work on Mercedes here. I'm not going to damage your car. Go down the block. Go down the block to the Mercedes guy because he's an expert on that German technology. But as activists and leaders in the black community, we frequently are so insecure that we don't know how we fit, how we connect, and how we complement each other if we would just shift our attitude, shift our perspective, and work on ourselves internally from a moral and spiritual level and elevate our consciousness and understand where we fit in the stream of history and the stream of time and our proper place in the struggle for liberation and the full resurrection of our people from mental, moral, spiritual, economic, and social death.
That's deep. We got a caller. Hold on, caller. Just 1 second. We're going to come right to you. Just hold on 1 second. Now, Minister Mike, what you just laid out, bro, is in books. It's been part of conversations, but it's readily ignored because of people being stuck. I mean, when you lay that out and say what the Honorable Marcus Garvey had to go through, even when, and we know Dr. King went through the same madness with those that would that was around him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to deal with it. I mean, so we're gonna take this caller, but I wanna talk about how can individuals look. I know Bobby Rush. Bobby been knowing me since a young man over in the Robert Taylor homes. I know Bobby, but certain people that show up, you can't tell me you was just there to be there and you just wanted to hear what Bobby had to say and you standing there in a photo op. No, that's a silence endorsement, man. Stop it. How foolish can you be to say I was just standing there? I love you, Jonathan, but that you lying. I love you. And then you bring the man over to push. That's fine. But don't play with the intelligence of the people, bro. You didn't have to be there. Either you with the man or you not. And that's your prerogative. But don't play games with black people. Period. If all it's about is certain individuals getting paid. That's not right. That is absolutely a lack of character, integrity. You don't speak for all of us. We are not crowned nobody. And most people that's crowned or not crowned, but out here running their mouth as though they platform is the platform for black people, bro. Y'all are suspects any damn way. I love you, but you should stop it. Anyway, caller, how you doing? Who are we speaking with?
Uh, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
This is your dear brother, Jamil Muhammad, and you know me, I'm very reluctant to participate in conversations, in meetings, because once you have the second meeting, everything dies. I understood the program was about, what social media and how, and you know me, Minister Mike, I love you. You've been a soldier in the work for a long time, and one of the few people that literally can get a Negro's attention. But in reality, as you know, both know, I don't have, book face. Because, what a gift for the devils. There was a time when our ancestors put what they had planned in songs that the white man didn't understand.
That's right.
So he never understood, what was in the nigga's mind. Big Lady once said, may God rest his soul, a nigga don't have no conscience, he only got the one that they give you. So the whole thing of social media, what a blessing. What a blessing for the devil. Because you tell him everything that's on your mind. And then we don't use it in the proper way.
That's right.
Because we had 10 million Negroes who was millionaires. If they gave $1 a day for 5 years, look how much land we can buy to feed the people. You can take one tomato seed, and by the way, that seed is black. You can take one tomato seed and you can grow a plant 6 feet tall and you can get 100 tomatoes from the plant. Cut one tomato open and see how many seeds is in there for food to feed yourself. We waiting on somebody else to do something that we should do for ourselves. Being blessed to travel to the continent by which they stole us, coming back to America, I felt embarrassed to be alive during this time. We are a disservice to the people who survived the ride on the ship. Yes. And took the ship to this day. We should be embarrassed to be living in this time. And we claim that we are intelligent. No prophet or messenger ever was respected, but the message is real. We need to do for ourselves. And all these fools who play game on their social media, their sickness, but they can't bake an apple pie. So can we use that medium in a way where we can take advantage of it? Because the white man is not going to give you nothing. It's not his job to give you nothing. I was blessed to go to the Caribbean in the 80s, and the minister sent myself and a brother out to pick up stuff from the grocery store at random in the Caribbean. And everything we brought back came from Holland or some other damn country. And you could spit on the ground in the Caribbean and grow a banana tree. We waiting on the white man to feed us when the food is under our own feet. I'm embarrassed to be alive during this time. And we're supposed to have, quote unquote, intelligent people. I love the title of your show, Intellectual Radio. Now, can we take advantage of that which we think we benefit from this cracker? He never told us the truth about nothing anyway. And all these fools that want to be leaders. And I'm asking you, you leading the people where? And if you're a follower, you should ask them where y'all going. And what y'all going to do when you get there.
Teach.
That's the real truth.
Yes, sir.
I am ashamed as a human being to be aware of this bullshit. And we still plead to somebody who, as Malcolm said, if he's not going to, goddamn it, treat you right, what makes you think he's going to teach you right? We need to take our ass back to the farm. This time we can be in charge. You didn't hear me. You know how many tomatoes you can get from one seed?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You know how many tomatoes that you can get from one watermelon seed, since they say niggas eat watermelons? Why we not growing watermelons? Huh? Why we not goddamn raising chickens? All these millionaires and billionaires who the money get taken anyway from the devil, why not give it to something that we can build something for ourselves?
Yes, sir.
Why not do that? And if anybody listening to anybody today, and this is not what they're talking about, this is not what they're doing. You know, religion is the word mean, in case the listeners don't know what that word means, they need to look it up. It means how one lives. It ain't got nothing to do with what church or synagogue you go to. Because houses of worship is houses of hustle. Because if you're not doing nothing on the block, then why you taking seed money every time the door's open? And I excuse nobody. But churches, mosques, synagogue, what are you doing with the seed money that you're getting? And so, but for Negroes, and I say that, and for Negroes who continue to hold out and wait
sir. Yes, sir.
for somebody to do something for you, you are a fool. And our youth should stop paying attention to these fools. And the gift from God, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but no prophet would ever respect it while no prophet. So but he taught, mathematical logic prove all things. And instead of black folks saying, hey, let's just try this, but they continue to hold out faith for whoever. And it don't matter who's in the White House, the seat is always Pharaoh. And Pharaoh ain't never been for the niggas. And that's really all I have to say. And I hope you should have been a disclaimer. I'm sick of this bullshit.
Thank you, brother.
Negro, and they say blackface. And they always put blackface even on Negroes. It made them coons.
Well, thank you, brother.
Already black, they made him paint his face.
You hit a home run, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Walaikum salam. I mean, the emotions, and folks, if you were not able to hear that via Facebook, etc., I know you heard it if you tuned in to IntellectualRadio.com, the live feed. He's right, Intellectual Radio, and it's feed your brains. And honestly, when we talk about leadership, Minister Michael, and leading people where? To what? Are we talking about establishing a government? Are we talking about assimilating? We've never been integrated. So if a young person came up to you, Minister Michael, and looked at the complex challenges that we still have in 2019. I mean, segregation. I mean, racism, discrimination. I mean, every conversation still centers around that. Are we being unrealistic to try to fix it without prescribing to that Marcus Garvey, that Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Is it another way out of this?
Well, that's a great question. From my vantage point, some of my brothers and sisters who, who are activists and whatnot, my discipline is ministry. My secondary ministry, is counseling, if you will. That's my lane. And so from my lane, that's how I filter reality. And so I'm blessed on a weekly basis to spend time with a few brothers that are multimillionaires. I've been blessed over the last 30 some odd years to interact with some wealthy people. If your consciousness is not awakened and elevated, if you don't have a certain orientation of mind, even when you have money, even when you have businesses, even when you have land, you will give it all right back to the oppressor, and you will exclude your people from the benefit of what you have. This is why we don't have Johnson Products. This is why we don't have Johnson Publishing downtown anymore. This is why we don't have the icons of industry, black men and women of industry that line the streets of a place like Chicago. They're gone.
They're gone.
Because we have the mentality of white men. We believe that once I make so much money, to cap off my success, to prove that I'm equal to the white man, I've got to sell this business that I built on the backs of poor black people. To prove I'm just as valid as the white man, I got to sell him my business and let him take it over and turn it into something that no longer belongs to the community. This is how sick our mentality is. So we have to start, from a biblical perspective. The Bible says, in the beginning was the word. And from an Islamic perspective, according to the history, the first command that God gave to Muhammad of revelation was read. Read in the name of thy Lord. Right? So it begins with consciousness. Words are only effective in the mind of the human being. So your mind has to be made right. And this is what we're fighting. This is what keeps us so divided, so vehemently hateful and envious of one another, is our minds ain't right.
No.
So I know brothers that look, I know a lot of assimilated black folks. Somebody, I woke up this morning and a couple of our fellow board members we were going back and forth about a sister who won $700,000 settlement. Highly educated sister.
Right.
But it's a Pyrrhic victory, because it's backroom manipulation, lies, and bullying, and all kind of stuff going on behind the scenes that the average black person don't know. They just see a headline, right? But that's a group of highly educated, assimilated black people who come in front of black people trying to be pro-black, and they so much about thinking about the liberation of black people, and they put on this great facade while all along they are gutting Anybody that don't bow down to them, that's not under the thumb of their control. But on the other end of the spectrum, and those people have money. They have influence. On the other end of the spectrum is my brothers from the street who have gotten millions of dollars from street business. They are also assimilated because they take their wealth. They don't invest in a group like the New Black Leadership Coalition. They don't invest in a National Block Club University of Cyrone Smith. They don't invest in a Temple of Mercy Association, or they don't invest in a BOP center. It don't even strike their mind that instead of making it rain in the club or buying the next Phantom or Ferrari, that they could put that money into some people who have sacrificed to try to elevate and change the condition and get us from under this oppression. They're assimilated. They just they street assimilated. So they get wealth and money and they think like white people. They give it all back to being like white people, smoking cigars and how we do.
Showing out.
But that's a consciousness.
Yeah.
Then you got the athlete brothers that are multi-million. They assimilated.
Yeah.
So they got wealth. They buy land. They buy property. They open businesses and all that. But most of them don't give a damn about black people. And if you talk to them about investing in the uplift of black people, many of them will run from you.
Wow.
So we got to start with the minds of our people. And many of those of us who scream black, black, black all the time, and quick, you a sellout, I'm a sellout, he's a sellout, she's a sellout. We selling out ourselves because we in the room with white people trying to prove that we worthy of them helping us and giving us money and giving us support in the back room, while in the open, in the public, we castigating other people who we feel ain't black enough.
Woo.
So it's a mentality.
Teach, Mike, teach.
So we've got the battlefield is in the mind of a spiritually, culturally dead people who think black means I put my fist up. Power to the people. That don't make you black. It was a lot of people with Chairman Fred putting their fists up saying power to the people, but they wasn't nowhere around when the assassin's bullet came.
Teach.
And we don't know, maybe one or two of them helped the assassin know when to come.
Right.
It's a lot of people talking black, 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 got on mud cloth, kente cloth, dashikis, kufis, and whatnot, but they are in the room with Bill Daley right now. They already cut a deal with Bill Daley. They know what the Daleys have done to black people in Chicago, and they've already cut a deal with Bill Daley, but they will get on social media, they will get in the public, on WVON, on anywhere they can reach black people and make you think that you should respect them as a venerable scholar or elder or champion of black people. But they don't tell you they just met with Mike Madigan's people or Mike Madigan himself. They don't tell you of all the deals they cut in the back room. That's a mentality. That's a sick consciousness that allows us to eat our own flesh. Hey. So if somebody asks me where to start from my lane, I can't talk about economic development, even though I've helped some of the brothers with me make a lot of money. When they followed my vision or advice, they will tell you they made a lot of money, way more money than I've ever made, right? But that's not my thing. I don't never claim to be an economic development expert. I can't claim to be an educational expert. You know what I mean? I know my lane. So I have to speak from my vantage point. And from my vantage point, Brother Gregory, until we get our mind right, our heart ain't gonna be right.
I mean, I love it. Don't stop. Because I want to pose a question to you. And by the way, if you say Hotep or Barghani, and you have not tapped into the Pullman Porters, museum.
That's right.
You ain't supported that. How black are you?
Right.
There's so many conscious black people trying to be a great example for our people, but again, no discipline. And I know we get emotional and etc. But Minister Mike, I wrote something here that I believe from your lane. I put it out there on Facebook already. And from your lane, when the parable about the wheat and the tare, and what is tares, and so according to the parable of the tares, also known as the parable of the weeds, the parable of the wheat and the tares, the parable of the wheat and the weeds, or the parable of the weeds in the grain, is one of the parables of Jesus, which appears in Matthew.
That's right.
Now, the weeds, and then, and some of the writings, they talk about the weeds being poison, and there needs to be a separation from those that have weaved this time, not weed, but have weaved themselves in the movement, but they mean no good because they are so poison, but they have come among us to create nothing but chaos.
That's right.
How do you see, from a spiritual perspective, a scriptural perspective, the movement of today, as you mentioned, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? When you look at the movement, we know that our brother, like many of you all that say you in the movement, yet you won't go or turn on the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is getting ready to speak in a few weeks for Savior's Day. A man like that, with a mission that he has, that many of you all don't understand and disrespect, and you really wickedly petty with most of your comments, as one person began to bring back up Malcolm and Farrakhan. And I was like, I should slap you. But I said, I'm going to ignore you because that's how stupid you are. But when you look at the wheat and the tares, Minister Michael, and you talk about the separation, how do we fix that? I mean, will it happen on its own and it'll just pan out to go where it needs to go, regardless of what we are doing? God is in control of this, and God got us this far. He's not about, I believe very, very strongly, to let us go. But this is some painful stuff to witness, and you almost want to just stop reading the stuff on social media. You want to turn the television off. You want to pray, get up, do the work, and meet with like minds that are positive and really focus on helping each other, not hurting each other. Because
To lead black people is that 4-letter word love. How deep is our love for ourselves?
yes,
Because if my love for myself is shallow, then my love for you is going to be shallow. But if I can learn to love me as a black person and all that that means, the deeper I love myself, the deeper I can love you. Because when I'm loving myself, I got so many shortcomings, so many idiosyncrasies, so many hangups, so many faults. I make so many bad decisions. I hurt people's feelings. I insult people. People hurting my feelings. Insult me. I'm going through all this drama inside of me, and I got to learn to love and forgive myself through all of the
painful, excruciating experiences, especially the people that I love take me through. When I learn to love myself properly through that, then I can give you that quality of love. But if I love myself in a shallow way, then man, this, brother let me down, so I'm going to snort some cocaine. Brother let me down, so I'm gonna plot out this nigga. I'm gonna get him fired from his job. Or the brother didn't do what I wanted him to do, so I'm gonna go sleep with his wife. Or if I got a sick, shallow kind of self-love, where I destroy myself, then I will destroy you. But I got to have the kind of love that Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm, Stokely, Kwame Ture, others, Dr. King, we honor them because their love was so deep that no matter how much we disrespected them, insulted them, failed to appreciate the message of God coming through them for us, their direction, their leadership, their discipline, we put it on them black people, man. We took them through hell and high water, and they still laid down their life for us. We got to learn, we got to develop that kind of love. That's the number one quality. And you don't learn that without discipline. You got to submit yourself to a person or a group of people who are committed to the principles of self-development, accountability, based upon the highest principles, the ancient principles, spiritual principles of our ancestors who carried us through the Middle Passage, who made it through the fields of the plantation and the slave master to get us to the day where we can have quote unquote black excellence. If we ain't connected to that energy, then we're not qualified to lead.
Wow.
So water seeks its own level. So if I'm a provocateur and that's all I know how to do is be a provocateur, if I'm a saboteur and all I know how to do is sabotage, if I'm a hater and an envier, if I'm insecure, water seeks its own level. The people who are elevating their vibration according to the vibration of the greatest of our elders and our ancestors, we will stick out like a sore thumb to those people, and they will separate us. They will press down on us to see if we will rise. And if we don't rise, they will crush us and separate themselves from us. That's why we have to have a regular gathering of everybody going in the community in the name of black people to get in the room and hold each other accountable. We need to know who's on the right vibration. And if I'm not on that vibration, but I want to be on that vibration, then I need to be in the room with people who can help me by experience elevate my vibration.
Wow. Teach. Self-improvement is the basis for community development.
That's right.
Self-improvement is the basis. That came from the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
Again, understanding the psyche, which has been really traumatized, so much so that we have been in a state of denial.
That's right.
And don't want to recognize, as Minister Mike have laid it out so clear, our own insecurities, our own shortcomings, our own just total BS. That's what I'm gonna call it. You can call it the other stuff, but we are full of it. Oh boy, time has evaporated once again. You bring the breath of fire in the studio, he eats up the time with fire. But anyway, I am so thankful. We are so blessed that you all joined us this evening. We hope that we said something that will inspire, motivate, educate, inform us to the journey, man, of real love, as Minister Mike laid it out, real unity, real mission, real divine vision, that bring it into action Stop talking about it and be about it. Thank you, Minister
Thank
Mike.
you, Brother Gregory.
Man, thank you, Brother Earl Winfrey. And thank you all for joining in. Share this video. Peace and love. The new black leadership.